From Tunisia to New Orleans, from athlete to coach, today's guest has lived every chapter of the college tennis story. If you're dreaming of playing tennis in the US, this episode is definitely for you. So, joining me today is Coach Farah Baklouti, assistant graduate assistant coach for Xavier University of Louisiana, both men's and women's tennis teams. She's also former ITA All-American and international student athlete herself. So, Farah, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time joining. So let's start from the very beginning. Can you tell me a little bit about your growing up in Tunisia? Is it in English,
Yeah,
Tunisia?
correct.
And how tennis became such a big part of your life?
Yes, of course. So from the beginning, how I actually got into tennis, I remember I was watching Wimbledon finals, women's, with my family in the living room, and then I saw on the TV these women playing the finals with this beautiful dresses, the white one. It looks so elegant, so beautiful, and I was like, I want to be one of those one day. And that's how I started. So somehow, I started when I was like 4 years old, and I just gradually got into it every day, just loved it even more. And then in my country, the weather is pretty hot throughout the whole year, so it's like the perfect weather to play outdoors. And that's how it got to basically. Just after that, I started winning in tournaments. The national team noticed me. They got me into to be a part of them, and then I went to the capital where I had to study with national team, and I had to practice. I had to practice 6 days a week, 4 to 5 hours a day, and I want to do pro.
Mhm.
To when I grow up and I want to go to university. And at some point, a lot of members of my family used to make fun of me because I basically eat, sleep, and breathe tennis. I don't do anything. Just go to school, go tennis, go to sleep, go to school, go tennis every day. And yeah, that's how it is.
That's so funny because my story of how I got into tennis is so similar to yours. Okay, I wasn't interested in tennis at all. And then my parents were watching all of the Grand Slams tournaments. So one time they were watching Australian Open, the final match, but for men's. And I was like, okay, what are they watching? Let me check it out. So I sat down with them and I started to watch and I told them, okay, I want to run as this man. I don't know what they're doing, just bring me. I want to run the same way. So that's so funny that you're telling this because I had the exact same experience. So you said you wanted to go professionally, right?
Yes.
How did it change into you coming to play college tennis?
So, was while I was playing the national team and practicing every day, I want to go pro. I was also studying biology. That was one of my biggest, basically, love in school. I was always passionate about the body, about medicine, and I wanted to have a career one day. And that you always want to have, both careers. If something doesn't work out, you have like a backup. So in my country, it's either you go to med school and that's it, or you go and you play, pro, but you won't be able to, be able like to go on a professional level and play tennis and have a career. And the best option was US. I was able to come here and study medicine and also play tennis on a like a good level.
How did you end up choosing the school that you chose?
Okay, so when I came here, I was at New York City. I went to a junior college. I wanted to experience the city, coming from like a third world country, literally so far away. The only thing I knew was New York City, and that was like a dream. I wanna experience it. So I went to a junior college there for 2 years, and then I got a call from Xavier University that offered me a scholarship, and it was actually three aspects in how I got here. One, it was they had one of the best biology pre-med in the country. Like our majors in science are one of the top notch. We have like a high acceptance rate for med school, so like that checks. And then second, I asked about the head coach, our coach Green. He has an amazing reputation. He's been doing this job for 22 years, so everybody knew about him. And then three, it was cherry on top. The assistant coach who was here was Tunisian. She was a friend. She was a friend and a tennis player from back home in the national team. And I was like, oh, yep, I'm there. I'll be there. So let's. So yeah,
That's so
that's how I
awesome.
got the favorite. Yeah. And that was
Yeah,
back
for
in
example,
2018, and since then I haven't moved out.
yeah, it's like, all of the pieces of puzzle just got
Yeah,
together for you. That's so
it
nice.
was meant to
Especially,
be.
yeah, especially I don't think throughout, so I've been playing college tennis for 3 years. I don't think I've met anyone from Tunisia so far. So, to have such a coincidence that you're from this country and then there's assistant coach from your country, that's amazing.
So back in my days, when I say back in my days, damn, I sound like so old, but I'm not really that old. But back then, when he said I have my assistant coach Tunisian, I said no, you don't, because I know we're like 3 or 4 people in the whole country. I will know if there is someone there. He's like, yes, his name is this. I'm like, no, yeah, I'm coming. So after I don't know if you, I mean, obviously you heard of On Sheber. She's the top 10 in WTA.
Mhm.
After she broke a lot of barriers. Tennis became really popular in my country. Usually it used to be soccer, but after her and thanks to her, now everybody's talking about tennis and everybody's playing tennis. And now a lot of Tunisian players are everywhere in the US compared to before. So yeah.
That's so awesome. So, is there a match or a moment through your college career that stands out the most? Your best memory when you played.
Yes. So my first senior year, because had to. The first one was in COVID, and then the extra year after, I had the senior thing. But my first year, that was actually the last match I had before the season was cut off short. We played in LSUA. It was like an Alexandria. We went to a tournament, and that was the last match. After we go, we finish, we go home. We are playing. I played with this girl that every year somehow I end up playing with her. She's like the best player in that team, and yet I always have like to prove a point to beat her. So I was the match clinching to beat that team, but the girl next to me was also winning. So even if I didn't win, the one next to me would have won, and we won the match like 4-0, so 4-1. So it wasn't like a tight match, but our match was so long. It was like a really tight, like a 7-5 first set and a 6-4 second, and then it was a 5-4 third. So we've been playing for a long time.
Mhm.
And 30-15, my serve, I fell. I hit my head pretty hard and had a
Oh.
concussion. So when I fell, I woke up and everything was basically black. When you just hit it and then everything is just so it goes blank basically. And all I saw was everybody in there, my coach, their assistant coach, the referee, the athletic trainer, all like gathered around me, and my teammates were in the back cheering, and they all went silent because I hit my head so hard that everybody like, oh. And then I woke up and I was like, no, no, I'm good. It's just 2 more points. And I do this and I see blood and I'm like, ah. And then the athletic trainer was like, okay, you need to take the medical timeout. We have to check you out. And in my head, I saw basically the girl I was playing against, and she was kind of like, smirking, laughing. And I was like, no, no, you're not about to win this way. And I
Mhm.
looked at the trainer and I started arguing with her, and I said, 2 more points. The adrenaline is kicking in, so I don't really feel pain. If I would sit down, I won't be able to move, back up. And she's like, no, but it's gonna be dangerous, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yes, I know, but it's gonna be dangerous now or after 2 points. Might as well end up with this winning a match. So she let me finish. Somehow I won the point right after super quickly. Like I served and she missed it. And then the last one was a little bit longer, but not like an hour long. It was like some exchanges, and then I just won the point with the winner. And then I went to sit down. When I sit down, she was talking to me, and she was like asking me to recite like 3 words. What I just, well, no, she's like, for example, tell me house, dog, apple. Say it again. And I'm like, yeah, it's easy. House, dog. She's like, yeah, what about the third one? I'm like, you said 3 things? She's like, yep, nope, nope. So you're gonna have a concussion test and stuff, and that was basically the best match ever.
Wow, that's a unique story. I don't think many people can share something like this.
It's a fun one.
Uh,
Until today, actually, somehow the team got the course resurfaced because of that incident, which we ended up with something good, and we ended up winning the match. So win-win for everybody. It may
yeah,
not have
yeah.
been the best decision I made in that moment, but I just somehow like took off when I saw the other girl like laughing, and in her head, okay, I'm gonna win this match because she's gonna go out, and I was like, no, nope, nope, I'd rather die in this match than let you win.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did not expect that you're gonna keep playing. You know, she
Yeah,
probably got a
that
little
was
bit
God.
relaxed.
That was God bless.
That's so funny, but it shows, you know, that you're a true fighter, basically. So it doesn't matter what what happens to you, you keep fighting. How this story and, you know, maybe your coach experience in general helped you to build up your coaching skills right now.
For me, when I see players, all I think about is do your best. Just fight to the last. I want you to get out of this court and not regret anything after you finish the match. Because what is regret gonna do when you're in a rout? What, you're gonna somehow turn back time and go back and play again? You're not. So make sure to do everything you can in the court. So when you get out, you say, hey, that woman beat me or that man beat me, but I did everything I could. So there is nothing for me to be mad about. So yeah. That's
That's a
basically
good
every
one.
time I say it because that's how I remember every match. And yeah, hopefully people keep thinking about that and during their matches.
Yeah, especially a college is very unique experience for everyone. As you said, well, we'll probably never experience anything even close to what we have right now. So,
Mhm.
you know, graduating and then thinking, oh, my junior year, I did this, and that. Like, I didn't enjoy playing tennis. It will be really sad to have this type of memories.
Yeah.
Okay, so going again to your coaching part right now, what happened that you decided to become GA?
So after I graduated, I went and I worked in research in dermatology for 3 years. And then I had a good mentor as a doctor that was there to help me out, to learn, and then I remembered my coach, my head coach. He was like the best example if you need anything with anything at this point, tennis, life, school, anything you need, he will always be there to have the perfect answer. He was also a counselor, so that helped. He will always have something to tell you that will just calm you down. I have a high level of anxiety, so I overthink stuff so much, and from tiny problem I just make it a whole issue. And he will always be there to just tell me exactly what I need to do, and it's always right. I'm not even like adding and exaggerating. He's that type of person who will tell you something and is 99.5% correct.
Mhm.
So that, and then when I went to work, and the doctor that I had, just I was like, you know what, maybe actually coaching can be for me. Let me try it out. And that was like one of the things that it pushed me to do it.
Mhm. What would you like to do after you will get your, is it masters now?
Yes, it's a master's, yes.
Hmm.
So honestly, I'm not sure because I had my plans changes every day. I went my undergrad and I wanted to go to med school and then did a master's in public health and I wanted to go in epidemiology and then ended up in research and now I'm doing counseling and coaching. I don't know. At this point, I'm just gonna enjoy the ride and see where everything takes.
That's so nice, and especially because you can probably relate to players who are studying, you know, and don't really know what they want to do after graduation. Because that's the question that I get all the time. I'm about to start my senior year, and everyone is like, "So, what are you gonna do
Yeah.
after you graduate?" Don't ask me right now.
Exactly, exactly. You always have this plan and you will think you have the perfect plan, but then life happens. And being international in the US is not like easy. Everybody knows. So you'll always have to put in perspective the long ride. Do you want to go back home? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to get the green card? Do you want to live here? Do you want to work here and go back home? So those are questions also has to be in the decision making process.
Yeah, absolutely. So going to your relationship with the team, you know, you're being pretty close in age. How does it impact your relationship with your players?
So I believe that when I was a player, uh, I could trust my coach. I wouldn't have gone to him and to the assistants also if I didn't trust them. If I knew that if I'm gonna tell you something, to just kind of turn back and just say it a different way or like they take it like basically against me. So
Mhm.
I trusted them. I believe that the best part in all of this is trusting and creating in a trusting environment with the coaches and the players, and that way they will feel heard, they will feel respected, and that will make them give you the best that they can. You can expect a player to give them your best if you don't really care about them enough to talk to them, to go the extra mile, to know them better. And then, if anything, from the constant math masters I'm studying right now teaching me, if there is for every reaction they have, there is always a backup story. You just have to dig deep to understand, because someone wouldn't just come and during the match and start throwing rackets and basically cursing and getting so mad about the tiny mistake from nowhere. He or she probably have a backup story that just develop up from your. If you just dig deep and know what it is, you can just change exactly who that player is and just turn it to your advantage, basically.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree that trust is important, especially like for international students. For the most part, everyone comes here without knowing anybody. We talk to coach once, twice, maybe few times, but that's it. That's basically the only person who we can count on our during our first days, weeks, months in the US. So, how do you build this trust and leadership in your team?
So I try to be as close as I can to my players. And one thing I'm working on is creating boundaries, because there is a thin lining from that part. So, but I will tell them, if you need to talk to someone. Me, actually, we have another graduate assistant in my team who's also a counseling department and in also department and masters. And at some point, we sometimes we are like the counseling people in the team. So like, okay, who wants to talk to who? Okay, me. Okay, let's go. Like we give you like an hour session. We just get you to talk, and by the end of the session, which is basically just talking, they just feel better. So I feel that's like really one of the important things you can do for a player, because a player who comes here, especially it's international, they are way away from their home. They don't have their parents. They don't have anybody they can trust to talk to. Yes, you have a phone, you can talk to them, but there is the time difference. You go to sleep, they are awake, and then vice versa. So they're not really accessible like someone who can just drive their car and go see their parents and their family. So at some point, you are their family and
Mhm.
you've been through this, so who else can help them better than you are, since you've been through it and you experience the same thing you are. So you just have to show them that you are reliable. That's basically it.
Do you think it's okay for GAs being friends with players, or do you think there still should be like this separation between, okay, you're my coach, we are not friends, or like you're my coach, but you're also my friend, or like, yeah, we're just friends all the time?
Oh,
What's
no,
your
no.
perspective?
Definitely not. That's where the boundary and the thin lining comes in. So I am your coach. I can be your friend. And when I mean when I be your friend, I can be there if you need me, if you need to talk, if you need someone to help you with, something. That part I can do this. If you text me one day and say, okay, I need help with my classes. I don't know what I'm taking. I think I'm failing this. I think I have to go to the doctor and see this. Those type of stuff, I'll be there to help you out. But if like, hey, okay, let's go out and let's have a coffee or let's drink or let's just talk about our personal life. That's when friends comes in, and that's never good. So that's where the boundaries have to stop, basically. But yeah,
What helps you to set these boundaries with your players?
I actually took it the hard way. I from so last year I wasn't also a graduate assistant, but I was kind of like helping out with the team if I can just show up one day and just help out if anybody needs something. And I got too close to one of the players, and that led to some complicated issues. So yeah, that was like a calling, and I was like, nope, never again. And yeah, though right now I'm working so hard to create those boundaries.
Yeah, because I have a graduate assistant as well, and she's also pretty young. I think she's like 26 years old.
Hmm.
So it's so hard to be like, okay, she is my coach first, and
Yep.
then like there can be something outside going on. But yeah, I feel like it's really tough to build
Except.
the right
Mhm.
relationship, yeah, between GAs and tennis players. So, being close with your team, what do you prioritize more? Is it, their talent? Is it their work ethic and how they treat practices and matches? Is it mindset? What's the most important aspect for you?
So mindset and work ethics. definitely over talent. Talent is basically a tool to just, make you able to open the door for whatever sport. At this point, it doesn't have to be tennis. And then the mindset and the work ethics are basically like the engine. Or let's say, when you have a car and then you cannot really turn unless the two wheels on the front are turning together at the same time. You cannot just have each one of them going in different ways. That's the work that and the mindset. They impact each other. And the talent is just for you to be able to turn on the car. For you to move it, you need to have those two going directly in the same way. Mindset, you need someone, who takes accountability of their doing, who understand that this is like let's face it, 4 years of undergrad is basically like a pre-trial for life. It's like the best and the most the best years in your life and the most frustrating ones. But hate it or love it, they are literally the best 4 years of your life because you're kind of an adult, but you're not in the real life yet. And you kind
Mhm.
of see like the preview every year. You just grow. You go to a sophomore, to a junior, to a senior. You can see a little bit of the future of you being by yourself in the real world, but you are still with the team. You're still grown up, but like physically supported. If that makes sense.
Mhm. What are some of the other mindsets that you try to follow while coaching and also implement it for your team?
Uh, for me, I need you need how to say it. You need like a positive mindset to move forward. That's in anything to do, right? If you go to a practice and you will, or if you go to a match and you think that you're gonna lose anyway, whatever you're gonna do, then your mindset is just gonna push you down no matter what you do, even if you're ready for the match. But the fact that you think that this team in front of you is way better than you, or they're gonna beat you anyway, why even lose the energy for? Might as well just get out of the court and save us all the time. With a good mindset, everybody around you can see it. And then you can be the leader who puts everybody up. They can see that you're trying, they can see that you're putting everything you work for during practice and during the whole season in that match, and you can see that you cannot give up. So everybody's like, huh, damn, I mean, I know we're playing with a good team and with a hard one, but look what he's doing. Look what he's doing next to me. So the least I can do is follow and give my best. That's how
What
mindset like affects everybody.
Yeah, what advice would you give to someone who struggles with this mindset and does come to matches thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna lose today"? How do you think people can overcome it?
So I tell this to my players when they in the changeover or something. I just say you're overthinking a lot of stuff that are actually something you cannot control. You're overthinking the fact that you play into another team and like let's say the weather is cold. Those stuff you cannot control. What you can control is how you think and how you play. So take a step back and then, clear off your mind and remember that you've done this before. You can do it. You can play. You can hit a serve. You can hit a forehand. There is nothing that you just, like woke up one day and someone gave you a racket and say, hey, play tennis. You've done this a lot of times. The fact that you're just overthinking a lot and then, you're seeing another team in front of you and you just say, oh, no, I know I'm not good enough. Or no, this team had won this before or they beat this before. That's something you cannot control. There's something that is in the past. You cannot really, and you're not, like a fortune teller that you can see the future. It's all about the present. You just clear your mind and just go from there and just do what you've been doing all along in practice. And usually
That's a
works.
great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great advice because I feel like just talking to different players from different sports and teams, that's a huge challenge for a lot of athletes because we love to think what
Mhm.
what if it's their best day, what if I lose, but in the end of the day nothing gonna change in the world, sun is gonna come up tomorrow morning, like world will still
Yeah.
be there, so it's not a big deal even if you do lose. But yeah, so I agree with you about importance of the mindset and your inner belief that you can do it instead of,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, there is no one is getting any help out of that. If you're gonna be saying, okay, I cannot win, no, they're better, just get out. Really. Just save us all the time.
That's so true. Okay, let's move a little bit more towards some of the topics related to recruiting process. And
Mhm.
you being an international student, back in your days, as you said, you know what a lot of international people are gonna go through, um, in their recruiting uh, procedure. So, what are some of the ways that athletes can prove their level if they don't have an opportunity to play a lot of international tournaments?
Okay, so I've come across this a lot. A lot of countries, especially Italy, and then some in Europe, and then some in Africa also, that they don't have a lot of UTR matches. So whatever they play, there's only national tournaments, and they don't really count for UTR. So they cannot really show the level, and they can just estimate. The good thing that they can do is a good video with like high quality, footage. Now in the video, you cannot just show all the points you won. You're gonna have to show a whole match. You can just take a video of your match so you can show the ups and downs because you're not a robot. You're a player and you're human, so you're gonna make mistakes, and we have to see what you will react in that mistake and how you can overcome it and play better. So video is a key. Another thing is when they play tournaments, even is national, they can just show how the level of that national tournament is, and you can see, show what is your ranking in that tournament. Like what is if you are like in the top one and the top two, like if you're seeded or not, and they can show your level compared to the national team compared to the international ones. That actually helps. Also, a lot of players think that if I'm not like high ranked in UTR or if I don't have a lot of matches that I won and stuff, I won't be picked because if I'm not high ranking, I'm not a good player. That's absolutely not true. A lot of players have the talent and have the work ethics and the mindset for that. And then you just have to market yourself better by showing that yes, I deserve a chance for you to take it on me because I will be a good asset for your team. I will show up every day. I will work hard. I will do my best. I will. I can be a leader that you can depend on. Those also are one of the good qualities that coaches looking for. If you don't have, like tournaments and something, because that's something you cannot control. That's your country, and you don't have UTR matches, which is not the end of the world.
Mhm. You started to talk about the right marketing of yourself.
Hmm.
How do you think international players can tell their story better through emails or like for videos? You said that you can just record the match you're playing. What advices would you give to stand out, especially like from small countries that don't really have an opportunity to participate like in UTR tournaments and etc.
All right. So one, a good video. A video has to show a match, doubles and singles, both, because player coaches are looking for a double player and a single players, and you hit the jackpot if you get one that is better in both. That's the best thing. And then you have to include your school, your extracurriculum in school. That show that you're dedicated and you think out of the box and you're diligent in your work. Your GPA and then what you've done during your school. That also plays a part. Also in email, I get a lot of email that like pretty long, and you can see that I generated. That's not helping anybody at this point. Plus, do you think anyone is gonna sit down on the in the email and write a whole long ass email that is literally talking about how I'm a player and I went to school and I that's everybody done this. You're gonna have to make it small, make it short, and make it sweet. So and then include the stuff that you think that influence you and basically like in tennis, getting into tennis, and then why you want to do this, why you want to like cross the ocean to go to another country, be alone, be away from your family for what? That like show your objective, show your goals in life, and they can tell a lot about who you are.
That's a great explanation, and especially I like that you mentioned about both doubles and singles
Hmm.
because I think all of the videos that I've ever seen players doing
Only
is just
singles.
like them playing singles. So
Yep.
that's an interesting point.
Yep.
Have you seen a lot of people who would record their doubles matches as well?
I think I only had one person only. Yep. And I was like, I mean, damn, okay. Because a lot of people they do like the volley thing and then the overhead, but then when they play the points, you barely see them in the volley, so you can really never say if they're good or not. And then you see their UTR, and you can see that they higher UTR in singles and a low one in doubles. And then you come here, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to play doubles. I'm not a good doubles player." I'm like, "Yeah, that could be a good point to mention before."
Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting. It can be something for people to kind of stand out and show uniqueness by providing doubles
Correct.
aspect of the video as well. That's interesting. Okay, so what's one myth that international athletes believe about recruiting that you wish you could correct?
Okay, so there are actually two. One, they think that if I have a high UTR, I'm everybody's catch, basically. Like people won't look at my GPA, won't look at who I am, won't ask about my character, because who cares? I have a high UTR anyway, so they're gonna take me. That's not true. That's absolutely not. You can have a high UTR, but then when you call other coaches and other people about you, and they were like, "Yeah, no, I stay away from him or from her." They will be like, problem creator. And then there is other one that have a lower UTR, but then when you call your coaches and people around them, they're like, "Yes, we want to have her and him in that team because they're gonna be a good asset. They were gonna create problems, and they're gonna basically, um, how to say it, like let other people follow them in a good way, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. So yeah, that. Also, the other myth is everybody, especially that I've seen from my country, and from not just from my country, from like everywhere at this point, every one of them, they just want to go to a division 1 school. If it's not a division 1 school, it's what is that? I even had one player that was super rude, and I actually lost my mind when he said this. And I told him I am this, coach from NAA school, and he said, "What the fuck is NAA?" And I was like, "Oh, say less."
Hmm.
So yeah, but that's something that really has to change because you can get a top 10 AEA, like top 5 and top 10. They will have the same level as top 20, top 30, the D2, and the same goes for D1. So it doesn't
Hmm.
have. You can also go to a D1 school in the middle of nowhere, and then you will see like lower UTR players that are number one, and number two, and then when you compare those to an AEA, they will like. So you as number one in D1 school in the middle of nowhere, you can be playing as number 9 in my team. That is an NAA. So please, this is for internationals. Do your research. It only takes, a couple of, like everybody now has a computer and a phone, so it's not something that you have to go somewhere and buy. It's just accessible. Just go on that, it's your future eventually. So it deserves for you to stay on the computer and just have everything you need. Just go on the matches, go on the teams, go back. Some universities have like bad years, so don't go just the year before. Go back, go 2 to 3 years before, and see the whole you know what that school is about, with the location, the degree that you're looking for, and then if they have a master's degree there or not, the city, the job opportunities after. All of those has to be in perspective if you want to do a decision, especially if you're not from America, that you can just like travel to see those. It's super far, so you need to have all the facts before you commit. Doesn't mean is it D1, okay, I'll go.
Hmm.
And as we
Yeah.
saw, actually, this year is one of the highest numbers in the transfer portal. People are transferring every semester at this point. Like there are players who have been playing in 5 to 6 seasons, like 6 different schools, in like 2 to 3 years. And I'm like, really?
Yeah. Now, whenever I think it's also like lack of education for people. Nobody just really knows a lot about anything but Division 1 schools. Because I
Hmm.
remember whenever I got recruited, so I'm playing for Division 2 school right now in Oklahoma. So I remember myself a few years ago when people would ask me, "Oh, so you're going to the US? Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oklahoma." "Oh, which school are you
Yeah.
gonna play there?" Well, it's Division 2 school."
Uh,
"Oh,
Poor you. That's basically it.
okay."
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I think it's just lack of education, lack of knowledge for people, and information about different opportunities. Because again, everybody always talks about, oh, NCAA Division 1, Division 1, Division 1, but you were right. There are so many D1 schools out there that probably would lose to majority of Division 2 or Division 3 or NIAA schools. So
Yep.
what do you think is the way for people to learn more about these different leagues and divisions in
I see a
coaching?
lot of Asians everywhere, so I know for a fact that it's accessible. I see like different Asians, and at this point, everybody just go to university, and then 1 year later, he's an Asian. So I know for a fact that a lot of parents, they just have to actually give it a time of day to just ask. But I see a lot of parents who just ask about the Asians and about the recruitment process, and they say, okay, I just want my daughter or my son to go to D1, otherwise no. But that's
Mhm.
not really how it goes. You're gonna have, and plus with the Asian that they eventually they will teach the parents and the players about the difference between though there is also the coaches that if you reach out to one of them and say, hey, I wanna know about your school, would you be able to have a call? All of this can be explained in like 5 to 10 minutes call. So it's not like you're gonna ask someone for like a whole day, but you just have to actually listen. That's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, you're right. I started to help some of the athletes a couple of years ago, just like my friends, to get
Mhm.
recruited to colleges. And it's such a huge bias that you always have to overcome because everyone wants to get to Division 1 school, receive full scholarship.
Of
Doesn't
course.
matter what their results are, what their GPA
Mhm.
is. Everyone truly believes that they can get full ride in Division 1 school no matter what. So,
Exactly.
um,
And
yeah,
that's no, this is like from the past, especially with all the cuts and all the money problems, going on left and right. People really have to be reasonable and humble at some point.
that.
So yeah.
So, going back to your times when you tried to get recruited, what would be one thing that you wish you have done differently during your own recruiting process?
So when I transferred, are you talking about when I came to the US or when I transferred to Xavier?
Whatever you feel like
Okay.
you can share.
When I transferred, so I was supposed to go to another university right before Xavier, and at the last second, I got a call from the coach saying that all of my credits would not be transferred. It will only be like 9 out of 63, which is a deal breaker. He was also willing to get me that year and told me you're not gonna be eligible that semester and you're gonna keep getting your scholarship. However, you may need like an extra year to graduate since your credits are not accepted. And that was a big red flag. And then I freaked out. So the only thing I regretted was not having a lot of options before. It was like a hand of God when Xavier University reached out because it was at the last second and they said they can accept all of my credits. And as I said, the three other aspects, they had the good, biology department, they had a good reputation for the head coach, and then the cherry on top, the assistant coach. So those were like basically the fact that made me come. However, I wish I had more time to basically, have like a couple of options and say, okay, I'm gonna go with this. Let me ask about this. Let me ask about that,
Mhm.
and basically go from there. But everything worked out to the best. So yay!
Yeah, you got really fortunate with
Yep.
all of the
I'm
things
telling you, it was
coming
hand of
together.
God. That email that I received from Xavier was like, here we go. It's like a whole door open. Yep.
Hey, that's awesome. Anyways, okay, before we jump into the last part, which will be the game, is there anything else you would like to share about yourself, about the team, about the program?
I'll go with the program since I haven't advertised it so much so far. So our university is in New Orleans. New Orleans is in Louisiana. We are in the south, so the weather is pretty hot throughout the whole year, and it's a perfect time to play outdoor tennis, basically like Tunisia. So that's one thing why I like it. Um, our campus is in the middle of the city. We're like 5 to 10 minutes away from downtown with a car, so it's not in the mountains or something. So you're right there if you want to go out. And New Orleans, if you ever heard about it, it's pretty awesome city for parties. And then we have like the Mardi Gras in February and March where everybody go out and festivals and eat and basically enjoy time and the weather. So it's a perfect place to party and to enjoy daily like activities. And we have a good departments in science and business. We have a lot of majors, but like the most important ones and the most higher education ones we have is biology, is chemistry, like any science in any STEM, and pharmacy, schools, and business.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, I've been to New Orleans once over winter break to visit one of my friends. It's really a cool
it
place
is.
and
It
it
is.
has
The
its own
weather is well.
atmosphere.
Yep, the
Yeah.
weather is like the best thing about it. And then something about the South is like people actually care. When I was in New York City, um, I can like fell on the ground or like like someone like will hit you in the car or like an accident or something. No one will ever turn to help you out. Everybody's just busy with their time. Everybody's just running because it's a busy city and it's a fast one. So no one really cares. And here you can just one day I bought my tire And then I called my coach to help me out with, like changing it. And then 5 minutes later, we see some people passing by. They were like, "Hey, you need some help?" And they're like, "I mean, sure." And then they just came in to help, and the other one called their friends. Everybody just started helping out of, with nothing. They don't even know us, but like the welcomeness, and then people are just warm in here and they actually care. So that's something that I like.
Yeah, that's something that I experienced in Oklahoma as well. I've never met such a nice people. Like everyone always so friendly. Everyone is willing to help. The other day I was driving with my friend and our tire blew up. So we had to turn to like Brom's parking lot, and just random old couple pull out next to us and like, "Hey, do you need help? I see like you probably don't know how to do it." We're like, "No, we don't." So they helped us throughout the whole process of like changing tire to like spare tire, which I would never expect people just randomly
Yeah,
do. So that's
it's really
awesome.
nice.
Okay,
Yep.
for the last part of our episode today, we're gonna play a game which is called Build Your Dream Team. So, Coach Baklouti gets $10,000 of recruiting budget, and she can choose from a global pool of fictional players, and each player has their own cost. And she can choose only 3 players that she would recruit to her team using her budget. So our first lot for $1,000 is Emily from Texas. She is not really good at tennis, but her GPA is 4.0. Second person for $2,000 is Lina from China. She has UTR 10.0, but she cries every single time she loses first set. For the third one, $3,000, is Maya from Germany. She has insane forehand, but she is very inconsistent. Fourth one, Anna from Canada. She is an amazing tennis player, but she never cheers for her teammates. And for the last one, $5,000, we have Sofia from Argentina. She is very strong clay court player, but never played on hard court.
All right. So I get to choose three, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And you have to stick to your budget.
All right. So I will get obviously the Texas girl with the 4.0 GPA.
Mm-hmm.
I will get the German one with the insane forehand,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will get the Argentinian one with the like plays good on clay but never played on hard court.
Perfect. Hey, you
Yeah.
still have 1,000 left.
Ah, 1,000. What were the 1,000 for the other one? It was the Chinese one, and then who was the other one also? The one who
Yeah.
doesn't cheer, the Canadian.
Yeah.
The Canadian one.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
There you go. So
Is there
the team.
anyone who say go ahead?
I'm sorry. You go. You go.
Who I would choose? No. What did you say?
No, I'm not sure. What did you say?
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, how would you describe your perfect player? Like, if you could add one more to this game, let's say for 10K, who would it be?
I will get someone who is good in doubles and singles, and GPA can be not the lowest, obviously, but like let's say 3.0 or something. But I wouldn't worry about this because that person can be a leader, and he
Mhm.
can or she can follow the other players in the team who have a higher GPA, and if like create a good bond between each other that they will affect each other and just help each other with school.
Mhm. That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a great contribution to any team.
Yep.
Well, that was it for today. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciated your time, sharing all the information about you, about the team, about the program. New Orleans, definitely great destination for a lot of people, especially from overseas.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for joining today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate you.
Sure. And for all of the listeners, I will leave a bunch of links for team's website, for school's website. I'll leave contact information so you can get in touch with coaches. And I'll see you in the next episode. Yay! That was so cool.